Hello. Okay, I'm back. Back to stream. Back to doing things. Back to trying to get these nuns all painted up and violent looking. I guess. Well, we'll see. Last we left off, I think I got her looking pretty good. I don't know if the camera's actually going to zoom in okay, or if it's going to have a hard time focusing. But I think I got her looking pretty good, given how she has been requested to be painted. So we're going to keep going from there. I don't really want to spend a whole lot more time on her, simply because I'm not painting these to be like amazing looking. I'm just trying to get them up to the point where they look good, and that, you know, the client's wife is happy with them. In this case, soft servo's wife. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working on them, and we're going to see what we can do. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to go back over the metal parts with some more gunmetal and then some highlights to try and make it look a little less dirty. Because right now, it's looking pretty grody, given that I hit it all with a Nuln oil. Which, you know, generally is good, but not at the high spots. You don't want it to look greasy, you just want it to have some nice shading going on, right? So I'm going to go ahead and clean it back up, get it back up to nice and shiny on all the spots where like the light would hit it. Hopefully the connectivity issues are over and done with, because that I forgot to turn off my VPN, which apparently does not like being on chat, and everything will be a-okay. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead, clean everything up, make it look nice and pretty again. And then I can hit it with some highlights that will really emphasize the metal on here. Because right now it looks a little dull after being hit with the Nuln oil. Which is fine, that's to be expected, right? Nuln oil is definitely going to dirty everything up, given that it's a black wash. And if you're trying to go for a specific grimdark look, then that's kind of enough. You can just kind of hit everything with the Nuln oil. Everything will look really nice and battle-worn. And that's all you really need to do. But that's not what I'm going for with this model. I want them to look pretty. I wanted to use the shading as exactly what it says, as a shade. And hopefully that'll bring some great contrast to the eventual highlights that I'm going to do. I will say one thing that has been incredibly frustrating is trying to figure out this light, because it keeps hitting the brush, and that's not what we want. Okay, there we go. Maybe that'll do better. Let's see where else I can hit this. Hopefully I'm doing it in a way that the camera sees pretty okay. I know one of the biggest problems is that because I have so much light on here, it definitely washes out the model and does not truly represent color of the model, the saturation of the model. Everything is kind of very pale, because all of the light hitting it all in one spot is making it look more pale. I wonder what will happen if I... Yeah, that just makes it kind of dull. I'm going to go ahead and throw that back up there. And hopefully by doing all this, it'll balance out some of the Nuln oil spill that I have on here. That I intended to have, just probably not so violent on everything, because it is very much oversaturated every part of the mini, and that's not quite what I'm going for. Because the entire mini doesn't need to look dark and drab and dirty, just the parts that are in deep recesses and deep shadows, right? Hopefully that did a decent job of cleaning that up. So now, right, let's go ahead and hit that shadow one more time. Right down here, because that doesn't need to be dirty. Okay. Now, we can go ahead and start doing some highlights. To do that, I'm going to take some silver, some Vallejo Game Color silver, and we're going to see what we can do. If this is too bright, if maybe I should go a half step up instead of a full step. But we'll see. Actually, no, I think that's going to read fine. It is supposed to be a bright, bold look, so we're going to go ahead and go bright and bold with it. Really bring out the, how just incredibly, you know, ornate her armor is supposed to be. Only on the highest spots, though. I don't want to have this everywhere. Because once again, if you do that, it'll wash out everything, and you're not really going to get that pop that you're probably looking for with a model of this type, right? So I'm just putting it in places where I think the light would probably hit it best, and leave it at that. And hopefully, if I do this correctly, it will really make there be a nice contrast between the duller metal of the shadows and the lighter metal of the highlights. We shall see. We're gonna go ahead and do all that. Get this nice and bright. I might actually need to eventually get some lighter metals in this, because while it is doing the job, I feel like I have a limited range of metals for Vallejo. And that might be limiting just how powerful I am. Okay, get around the ankle there. Get that highlight. What's also not helping is, at some point, I really do need to get myself a better camera. The constant shifting in and out of focus is definitely hurting my streaming. But yeah, hopefully, all of this will help the metal pop a little more. And yeah, I'll be honest with you, starting out with gunmetal probably wasn't the best idea. I probably should have went ahead and started with straight silver to really, really brighten up the metal of her armor. And then knocked it down with Nuln Oil and then built it back up with the silver again. But that's okay. Live and learn. This is also going to be by far the most decorated of them, because this is the Sergeant. So, when I go back over this thing with, or when I do the other ones, they're not going to be as like, detailed as this one. This is my test model, basically. Yeah, in there. Let's get her jetpack. Hit that a little bit. And again, just some silver streaking as it's going down. I don't need to hit the entire thing. I still want there to be some shading. And I think, I don't recall, but I'm pretty sure I can highlight the rest of this with a white, and that will really make the, didn't this song just play? What's going on? Yeah, it did. There we go. I'll hit some of the edges with a white, and hopefully what that'll do is it'll bring some really nice highlights to this. And it'll make everything just a little less dull and drab. Or washed out at the very least. Who knows? We'll find out. Go ahead and hit that. Go ahead and hit some of that. Yeah. A little bit of the orb on there just to make it look a little brighter, get a nice transition between dark and light. And yeah, already looking brighter, already looking more heroic. Very good. Maybe a little bit more on her thigh though. I really want, especially since this is the one that is most directly facing the surface or the sunlight, I really want this part to be nice and bright and triumphant looking. So this is going to get the most of the silver. I need to get myself some red. I can't really do some of our stuff without the red. Now this dry palette can go down here for a minute. And we go ahead and work a wet palette. Actually, no. You know what? Again, her stuff is supposed to be pretty and bright, so I think I might have done a disservice to her sword by painting it gunmetal. And so I'm going to go ahead and highlight it a little bit and see if the highlight works for me. If not, I'll just start over, paint the entire thing over, and then hit it with a wash again. Kind of the beauty of doing it this way is I don't really have to make it look a certain way. It's all based on what I think will look good. I still think a white would really sell this. So what I'm probably going to do is once I finish with this bit is I'm going to go ahead and hit it with a white to really try and bring out some of the better bits on it. So let's see, what's next? I need to finish making one of her fleur-de-lis purple, which I can do with just a smidgen of that. I'll be honest, the thing that's giving me the most trouble right now is definitely her robes. So I think I may just have to go ahead and not quite start over, but give it a whole kind of do-over so that the highlighting kind of matches a little better, because I'm not liking how they're looking. Okay, a little bit of black in with the purple. And let's go ahead and do that fleur-de-lis. Make sure I've got everything else kind of done. You know, that's a really, really ugly fleur-de-lis sword. There we go. And I'll be honest, I think the contrast in her hood has become way too bright. And to be also honest, I think I'm just going to go ahead and say screw it. I was adding blue to try and add some dimension to the to the hood and to the cloth, but I'm not liking how that's turning out. So what I might do actually, what I might do, I'll add the blue and purple back in the mix, and then I'll start adding white to that mixture to really bring it out. We'll see. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But I really don't like, there's like a stark line of delineation between her hood and, or like the dark shadows of her hood and the rest of it. I think that's because I skipped a step. I should have actually done some more purple over some of the spots, because I go straight from that really, really dark purple up to that blue, and maybe that was just too big a jump. And there wasn't enough transition, so I'm going to go ahead and ruin this by covering the entire thing back over. Hey Snow Twig, how's it going? Painting's going okay. I'm finally back after a fairly lengthy, like, medical issue. And it wasn't, whoops, there went my paintbrush. It wasn't like a dangerous medical issue or anything. It was mainly that I was taking some blood pressure medication that was really severely affecting my energy levels. And, so I didn't have the energy to paint and go on stream. And I went and got a second opinion, found out that I probably shouldn't be on the blood pressure medication, and I stopped taking it, and now I feel a whole lot better. So I'm back to painting. I finished the Demon Prince. I don't remember if I even finished it on stream. I don't think I did. But I finished the Demon Prince and got that mailed back off, and the client loved it. And now I'm working on another commission for a friend who, his wife had the Seraphim, these jetpack ladies, and so I'm going through and I'm painting them to the scheme that she requested. And so I'm not getting paid for this one. This is more of a, she's never going to get to it, and he wanted to see the models get painted so they weren't just sitting unpainted in a box somewhere. So I'm going through, doing the paint job, trying to make them look all nice and pretty. Thank you. Yeah, me too. I really hated that feeling. Though it made a lot of sense when I went back to the doctors, because the reason I was put on the blood pressure medication is that my blood pressure was at like 140 something over 80,
which was too high. That was like early pre-hypertension, right? And so they put me on some blood pressure med to try and lower that blood pressure. And when I went back to check after a month, when they took my blood pressure, they found out I was at like 112 over 90, which means there's almost no pressure anymore. I know, right? I think the Battle Nuns have some really cool stuff to them, and I'm having so much fun painting her that it's really making me want to start a Sisters army. I have a couple of Sisters models that I bought on a whim back when I was first getting into the hobby, but I don't have anything coherent like a full army. And putting these together and painting them really makes me want to do that, because they are just a friggin' cool aesthetic army. They look really good. Their story is appropriately grimdark and mildly upsetting, which is what I prefer. I don't want to have anyone be a good guy in 40k, because the whole point is they're all awful. That way there's no real moral conflict with killing them, right? You never want to feel like you're facing off against the good guys. That's a feel bad, at least to me. So if everyone's the villain, then everyone's fair game. But I love the relaunch that they did, and if it wasn't for the fact that I was already so zeroed in on Imperial Fists and Death Guard, I probably would have started a Sisters army instead. So yeah, this is the Zephyrim, I believe. Actually, the way the jetpack she's using is a Seraphim jetpack, because I didn't know there was a difference until I started putting the other ones together for Soft Servo and his wife. The Seraphim are the gun wielders. They're the ones that have like dual guns, and so they can swoop in and then fire off their guns and then leave. The Zephyrim are the ones that try and have like power sword and plasma gun. Zephyrim or Seraphim, depending on which models you're looking at. So in this case, the way she's built, she is technically a Seraphim model, because she has the smaller backpack. The Zephyrim models have a much more ornate backpack, because they're straight up charging into battle instead of hovering above the battle with the gun. So I didn't realize that when I put the other ones together, that they were going to be different, but it doesn't really matter. The person playing, or the person who this belongs to, they don't play 40k. It's not their thing. They don't have the time nor interest. So they just have these really cool jetpack nuns that they like. And so I'm just going to paint them up to look really cool and then give them back. I'm wondering what that was. I couldn't tell because of the primer. That is another fleur-de-lis. Okay. I'm kind of going all over the place now because I'm not sure. I kind of lost the plot with painting them. I started painting the coats and whatnot one color, and then realized I didn't like the color, and now I'm going back over it, and it's kind of messing with the paint job and my focus as to what goes where, but I'm having fun. That's all that matters. So, I don't know. I'll figure this out eventually. Let's see. We're going to go ahead. It's been so long since I painted cloaks. I forgot how to paint cloaks. I'll go ahead and fill that out, and hopefully I've kept this wet enough that this is going to blend right in. Okay. But yeah, I'd really love to do a Sisters army. I have the Immolator tank, which is I think it's the Immolator, which is like a Rhino with some really heavy weapons platforms on it, and I just think they're neat. It's got the stained glass and everything, and I want to get the oh my gosh, what is it called? It's not the Immolator, it's the other one. It's the one that is a pipe organ that shoots missiles. I want to get that one just because it's a neat model. And after seeing the Castigator tank, I want to get that too. They just have so many good models to buy. And, of course, they've got all the cool heavy weapons with the heavy bolters and the heavy meltas, and their love of fire weapons and everything. I really dig the aesthetic and the play style of the sisters. That went way too bright. Okay. See you when you get back. I'll be here painting. Go ahead and like that a little bit. Unfortunately, I think this brush is starting to reach the end of its lifespan for me. I am apparently just notoriously bad with brushes because I've seen people who got brushes and they're like, yeah, the brush has lasted me, years and it still works fine. And I seem to go through and destroy a brush every few months. In that I knock all of the like the lead hairs, the lead bristles out of it really quickly. And that of course means that I really can't use the brush as effectively anymore because I have my brushes meant for precision work. And if they're missing the lead hairs, the lead bristles, then I can't really use them for that anymore because they've become too coarse. Because this used to have a really tight point, it does not anymore. Okay. I don't know if this is going to sell. I hope that this is more of a glaze. Probably not, because I haven't wet the brush in a bit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and throw that together. And dry that off, because I just realized I left a huge amount of water on there. I'm not falling for that again. Now let's see if I can highlight you up a little bit. Oh, are you still really wet? I hope not. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, you're still really wet. Okay, let's go ahead and hit it like so. Nope, nothing. I don't have anything on the brush. Okay. There we go. And actually, I can go ahead and start highlighting her hood a little bit. Too bright. More purple. Hopefully this is not going to be too wildly offensive a color now that the rest of her has been painted. Actually, no, that seems to track okay. It's close enough to the original purple, which is what I'm going for. The problem is that I'm noticing now is that I'm really struggling to find, like, good spots to hold on to her, to brace myself on, because she's on that goofy little wobbly thing. And it's definitely making life hard. Okay, even brighter for the rim of her hood. Maybe a little bit there. Yeah, that'll be good. And let's go ahead and hit that flirt. Nope, that was way too much. Actually, where is this thing now? There, so I'm just hitting you. Mr. Light Cord. Let's go ahead and bring some color back to the fleur-de-lis on her chest because I accidentally hit it with way too dark a color. So let's see what I can do. There we go. Did that get hit okay? This looks like it got stained over just a bit too much. Okay, that get hit okay. That one got stained over just a bit too much, so we're gonna do that. There we go. Okay, other than like her gun and her sword and her face, she's pretty good to go. So I'm gonna fill in these purity seals. And hopefully... I know I keep holding it too far back from the camera. I'm really bad about that. There we go, purity seal 1. Purity seal 2. And that's it, she's just got the 2 purity seals. Okay. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit because faces are hard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some fair skin. Rev that up a little bit so that I can go ahead and get it nice and mixed.
I'm really annoyed that it's sealed on me again. Goodbye. Just get a little bit on the palette because I'm not going to use a whole lot. I'm going to smother it all over her face.
Okay, let's see. Can I hit her face okay? This is going to need a few layers and a much better steady hand from me. Okay, so I'm already seeing a problem here. This is a very, very thin paint, and so it's definitely leaving some spots where it's puddling.
Just give me a second. Hit it with a hairdryer.
See how it dries. Yep, that's probably going to be an issue, actually. We're going to go ahead and do it again and see if I can get some of this like weird blue color out from her skin tone. Because unfortunately the blue has got her looking a little corpsey. And that is not what we want. What I might actually have to do is get the entire thing with like a purple. That will do a better job of giving her a warm undertone. Because right now she's just a little too like pale and sickly looking. What I think I might do is I've got purple right here. I think I'm going to mix the purple in with the flesh tone, which will also hopefully give it a little more body, because for some reason this flesh tone straight out of the bottle is very watered down and sickly, and I'm not very fond of that. So I'm going to go ahead and coat her with this purple flesh tone, and maybe this will help bring out some more actual color to her. Yeah, this color is definitely more acceptable, and thankfully I kept it thin enough that it shouldn't be an issue. Let's get that off of there, hopefully. Come on, get off. Just have to paint that over. That's annoying. Yeah, let's go ahead and try and hit that face. And again, this is where having a high quality, good, sharp brush is going to help you. My brush is definitely no longer that, and so I'm starting to run into problems with precision. Okay.
With it. Hair dryer again. Okay. Now she looks really mad because she's very pinky purple. That's going to be okay, because in a minute, we're going to go back to her more natural color and highlight back to that.
Which is actually not what I wanted to do. I was going to be lazy and just hit the entire thing with not Agrex Earthshade. That would have made her look dirty as sin. With Reikland Flesh Shade. But unfortunately, can't do that. I'm just gonna have to do a really quick job of giving her skin back to this warmer skin tone.
Which is very difficult if you can't tell.
I'm struggling a bit with it. But I mean, that's part of why I'm here, is to show you guys that, you know, struggling is part of the process. It's part of the learning curve. If you don't struggle, you'll never learn, you'll never grow. And yeah, this tip is not going to be good enough for doing the rest of her face. She has way too many details that are hidden, and the tip of this this brush is way too thick to hit some of those. So I'm no longer using a mix. It's now just straight pale flesh, or whatever the heck they called it, fair flesh. And hopefully some more of the highlights are gonna read. If not, luckily her face is so tiny that no one is ever.
Okay, there we go. A moment, let me look at her in much clearer light. Yeah, she'll be fine, I suppose. However, I do not have a brush to do those eyes without really screwing it up. So, I'm gonna pull out my 00. I'm gonna hope that my 00 has enough bristles
to try and hit those eyes. And that I personally have enough fortitude to hit those eyes.
close. And of course, this is actually the second worst part.
Doing the whites of the eyes sucks, but the thing that sucks more than doing the whites of the eyes is having to do the blacks of the eyes next. I always forget the names, not the irises.
Maybe it is the irises? I don't know. That's okay. Okay. Wish me luck.
I'm going in. There's one eye. There's two eyes. And there's some angry-ish eyebrows that she's gonna get, because that is the best I can do.
Oh man, I hate doing this. Doing eyes is by far one of the most frustrating things in the world, right? And I think it's funny because I was recently sent a meme that was someone really, really squinching to try and get the eye lenses done on a Space Marine. It's like, I'll do the eye lenses all day. The eye lenses are the easy part. The hard part is trying to get faces like this. And I think one of my favorite quotes about it was someone saying like, you put your helmets on because you don't want to have, or you want your troops to look the same. I put my helmets on because I can't draw eyes. Something like that. I don't know. I'm just tickled by that stuff. Okay, so
circlet. Gonna be a little lazy here. Black circlet. And it's gonna have a golden
thingy in it.
Or not a golden thing, a purple thing in it. That's the rest of her accoutrements.
Let's add some more water to that shading I just attempted to do on her face, because otherwise she's gonna have a weird Hitler mustache made out of
purple. And that's not what we're going for. So I'm going to try and glaze over that just a little bit. I mean, yeah, that's about as good as that's going to look with my skill set. Maybe... There we go.
Eyes are hard, dudes.
Ladies and gents, eyes are difficult. Is there anything else that really needs to be done on her?
I suppose. Go ahead, and I think what I'm gonna do to bring out this this power sword actually is I'm gonna dry brush it. I'm experimenting now. Take some blue, some yellow, mix together with the blue. Take some, or not yellow, white. Mix some white, mix it with the blue. More white, mix it with the blue. Maybe get a nice sky color.
I can dig that. Same thing, a little bit of white, mix in with the blue. Do the same thing underneath. This is actually how I'm going to do the OSL for my for the plasma gun that she's got. Some more white, mix in with the blue. Get a little closer to the source. Same on the other side. There we go. And now, mix some blue back into the white. And actually, no, before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and paint that fleur-de-lis. Because I forgot she had fleur-de-lis on her guns. Thankfully, fleur-de-lis is not that difficult to paint. So we're gonna go ahead and hit both of them, hopefully on camera. Yep, we're on camera. There we go, 2 fleur-de-lis, nicely painted. And now, I'm gonna hit this with the plasma glow. Actually, I think it dried out, so let's hit more blue. Mix it in. Get that nice plasma glow glowing. There we go. Do it on this side. And now, add more white to the blue. And then we're going to do the same thing, but in a smaller space. Same thing, smaller space. So add even more white into the blue. Same thing, smaller space. Even more white into the blue. I'm going mad with power over here. See if I can get all the white into the blue. There we go. There we go. So again, the main idea is you want the glow to look like it's coming from the gun, and that actually looks really good. Go me. I did a thing. And I did it in a way that sells. Okay. What else do I really need to do here? Not a whole lot, I don't think. I think she's by and large done. Cool. Yep, there we go. There's one down. On to the next one, I guess. So, anything? Where's another one? Give me another one. Here's another one. I particularly love how open their stances are, because it means they're not super difficult to paint. Okay, back to the metals. Okay. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and start... No, I am going to go ahead and start them off with gun. Because the gunmetal, just being that kind of drabby looking metal, does a really nice job. Oops, Daisy. Does a really nice job of selling how dark it can get underneath the light, right? And I think I'm okay with that. So we're going to go ahead, hit the whole model again in the gunmetal, dirty the gunmetal up with some Nuln oil, and then we'll top that all off with a really light silver. And then at some point I'll probably remember that I forgot something from the last model and be real sad. But that's okay. Okay. Gonna paint that up nice and consistent. And here I was talking about how open the pose of the model is, and here it is hiding behind its flight stand. I gotta learn to shut up. Okay, let's see. Can I? Yeah, I got in there nice and good. Okie dokie. And that leather strap around her ankle is eventually going to get painted over, so I'm not too worried about it being metal right now. Let's go around there, around the boot. I don't really need to do this part because no one's going to really see it, but I'm going to go ahead and creep up her thigh with this too. Yep. And her leggies be done. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and hit her torso armor next. I kind of love the implication that her chest armor is entire. I probably ought to change that, actually, the more I think about it, because it's pretty clear that her chest armor isn't really metal and that it's some kind of hard leather or something. It could be wrong. I honestly don't know. But it seems like it'd be wildly impractical to have to wear a chest plate like this and then try and move around the way they're moving around, because they've got some very dynamic poses, right? But, you know, I don't know any better. I could be horribly, horribly wrong. All I know is that these battle nuns are freaking cool, and I love them to death. Cannot wait to paint some of my own. I think I might have mentioned this last stream, but originally when I bought them, I really wanted to have all of my models have a kind of Imperial Fist scheme, because I really like the fists. And I wanted all my armies to have a similar theme, like they're all based off of the fists or something. So I think this version, I had them called like the Sisters of Dorn, because they were the daughters of the Emperor, which meant in the tree they would have been related, or like the sister of Rogel Dorn. But then I gave up on that, because I realized I couldn't keep extending myself out with a bunch of armies. So instead, I just focused in really, really hard on like the fists and the Death Guard. Especially for the Death Guard after one of my friends' friends were getting out of the hobby and they just had a ton of models to sell. And between myself and two other friends, we pulled our money together to get the models. And I got the Death Guard and the Terrain. And other friend got the Space Marines. And a third friend actually got the Orcs. So we each had a pretty decent sized part of the haul that was ours, right? And since I had so much Death Guard, I suddenly was able to be like, yeah, I've got 1,000,000 points of Death Guard. Cool. I don't need more. I ended up selling a lot of the models I personally didn't paint, because his scheme kind of clashed with mine in a way that I didn't like. But it really just made me want to go all in on the Death Guard. So I started buying my own and painting them up. And that led to me getting in, having like a Mortarion and a Plague Burst Crawler and a couple of other things. And so I've got enough of an army to be respectable, but I don't have anywhere near the number I used to have. For some of the ones I really liked, I ended up repainting them. But that's okay. I really not. Did I not? I didn't give myself enough. That's weird. That's weird. That's fine. Okay. Now I will say I didn't realize, like I said earlier, I didn't realize there was a difference between the Zephyrim and the Seraphim until I saw their backpacks, because the Zephyrim have these accoutrements on top and are more melee focused, and the Seraphim, if I recall properly, have the more compact jetpack, and they're meant to be more of a gunner option. And unfortunately, not a particularly good one. I think they had twin bolt pistols, which don't do a whole lot of damage in game, but it's all based on preference, man. One of my favorite things about switching to one-page rules was realizing that it was really based on preference. They tried to make it so no weapon was strictly better than the other. Just some were definitely more apt for different situations. So like the Flamer was no longer a low strength weapon that hit every time. it was a weapon that had no armor piercing, that had 1,000,000 hits that you had to roll for. And so yeah, I was pretty keen on how one-page rules had modified the game, and I really liked their system. But speaking of, I don't know if anyone saw or noticed the supposed leaks for 10th edition that have been coming out. And I don't know, I don't know if they're real or not. If they are, I'm not sure how much I'm going to like them. But they apparently really streamlined the game down. They very much simplified the warlord traits and the stratagems and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know whether it's going to be good or bad for the game. They're going to be putting a lot of the sub-factions in the indexes again. So like they'll have an Index Imperium that'll have a bunch of the factions lumped together. That way you're not having to buy 1,000,000 army books. I think that's how it's supposed to work. I wasn't playing in 8th edition when they did have the indexes. From what I saw, they're also going to make it so that sub-factions don't really get their own thing, right? Instead, there will be an HQ unit, like a leader unit, that will be specific to that faction, that will give units in the army a buff, you know, for that faction or something. I don't know. I'm intrigued, because one of my biggest problems with playing 40k is how overly complex it feels like it got. But I really don't know. Okay, what else needs to be done? I think I probably ought to hit. See if I can hit that little bit of metal. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna paint over it. There we go. So yeah, I think I hit it. So I'll go ahead and highlight it later. Let's go back. I guess let's go back to painting the cloth. Feels like it's about time. Get it down to a nice black purple. A nice desaturated black purple. And we'll move from there. There we go. I keep forgetting to hold this where the camera can see it, which makes for great streaming. I am incredibly rusty after being gone for as long as I was, I guess. 2 weeks off really completely ruined my ability to do this job. Thankfully, it doesn't seem like my painting skills diminished too much. But, you know, really hard to be worse when you're already low. Nah, I'm kidding. I know I'm pretty good at this. Hey, Pixie, how's it going? Thanks for the raid. At some point, I'll get alerts up so that I actually know when this stuff happens, instead of having to look over and see it in chat. So how's your day been going? How was your stream? What kind of fun things were you up to? I am painting this flying battle nun in the colors that my friend's wife wants. Oh, that's a leather strap. Okay. Yes, raid. How was your stream? How are things going for you? I'm kind of low energy because I'm really focusing in on trying to get this right. I want this to be a really cool, vibrant purple. And right now, I'm just trying not to get it on all the metal. I mix a bit of Pokemon Riping, a little bit of magnets, some Sylve trees. I'm not sure what any of that means. Oh wait, no, I get it. Some magnet, some Sylve trees. So, in my mind, in my drug-addled mind, not drug-addled anymore, magnetizing some Sylvaneth trees? I don't know. But I'm glad that you had fun. Yeah, I've been reading. I'm an English teacher, and we've been reading through Shakespeare, and especially the students I teach, Shakespeare might as well be a foreign language to them. They struggle with reading regular works of literature written in, contemporary English. So Shakespeare is just like teaching them a foreign language. Open Pokemon booster, gotcha. And yes, Sylvaneth trees, very cool, very cool. I've been meaning to get into playing Pokemon. I played very, very brief. I collected when I was a kid, so I've got a bunch of stuff from like first gen. nothing too fancy or expensive. And what was it? And I had a couple of friends who were interested in it about 4 or 5 years ago, and so we opened some of the we bought some of the starter decks to learn how to play. And I was tickled with how the game worked, because it seemed to work pretty... It was very intuitive. I really liked the gameplay, especially coming from someone who played Magic the Gathering. And, but I never really got further than that. And I think that's because my money was going to Magic, and then I realized I was spending too much on Magic, so I got into Warhammer, which feels like I might as well have taken the money I was trying to save and set it on fire. But getting into Warhammer helped me get into painting. So, not a total loss. But yeah, that was definitely not a good move. I was like, I'm spending too much money on these cards, on the cardboard crack. I'm gonna move over straight to the plastic methamphetamine. But it did teach me that I really enjoyed this miniature painting stuff. So, not a total loss. I'm spending more on trying to get better at painting than I am on Warhammer minis nowadays. It also didn't hurt that I bought a 3D printer, and so I'm able to do that now. Did you get any good pulls out of the Pokemon boosters? Okay. Yeah, that all looks about good. Next on the list, probably a brown. So I can go ahead and do a black. I can, again, she's wearing black sleeves, wearing a very dark toned outfit. Eventually build back up into purples and grays. Got one big hit out of the two, so not that good. That's fair. I mean, it's always a losing proposition when you're trying to get good cards out of booster packs, right? A 30 USD card. It's not too bad. I mean, I'm pretty sure you spent a lot more of that on the box if you were getting booster boxes, but it could be much worse. I used to obsessively crack Magic packs the same way, and they'd have like a chase rare and then literal garbage. And it always felt bad opening literal garbage. 50 a box? That's not too bad, I suppose. I mean, you obviously didn't make money, but you didn't lose, you know, an unholy amount. When, I think it, what was it? Which Master set was it? It was one of the last, not one of the last Master sets. It's been like 4 freaking years. Ultimate Masters, I think it was. When that came out, I bought one of those booster packs, which at the time I think were $7 or $15, something stupid. And, you know, I really was hoping to get a nice rare out of it. And I let my girlfriend, now wife, open it because she had been good luck previously. And we opened a 30-cent rare. And so I basically, you know, $10 to $15 to get 30 cents in returns. But that's why you don't open to make money, right? You open because the pools are really cool and you're excited to get them. She did absolutely destroy me at one time, though, because we were going through double master stuff, and she managed to pull a land tax, which ended up paying for all 3 of the boosters we bought that day. But yeah, I've fallen out of Pokemon really bad. I've got a friend, my buddy Soft Servo's brother. He plays Pokemon, and it's been really good for him because he's kind of a homebody. And he works in IT, so he doesn't need to leave the house, but that means he also doesn't socialize as much, right? But getting into Pokemon has really caused him to want to go out and play in tournaments and have fun and deck build and talk to people. So it's been really great for his social health and probably his emotional health too. So I am never going to speak bad on Pokemon. I do know that I really want to get either Scarlet or Violet because I love the starters. I've heard the games were a little glitchy, but I do not care. They look like fun. But I mean, I was given Shield many years ago which hurts me to say that it's been that long. I was given Shield a while ago, and I still haven't gotten, like, the 3rd badge. Fun game, do it? Okay. I will definitely take your ringing endorsement to say I need to buy game. So that is going to happen. Thank you. Yeah, I love the Pokemans from the game. I love the new Pokemans. I love the fact that the new Pokemans are cool. Makes me happy. I've also been seeing a lot of the Katrina memes with, I don't even remember the name of it, the 3rd evolution of Quaxley. And I just find that to be hilarious. So there is that thing. The open world is awesome. Oh yeah, that was a big selling point of the game, wasn't it? Because I've been in and out of Pokemon through the years of the games being in development. I played Red and Blue and the Pikachu one, which was yellow? And then I stopped for a really long time. And then I played Diamond in college. And I didn't get that far. I got to, I think, the Psychic Gym and then stopped playing. And then I stopped for a long time and then I picked up Shield. So I'm like popping back in every few generations. And it has been absolutely confusing and overwhelming because every time there are these huge leaps in, you know, technology and everything else. And I just feel so overwhelmed by what's going on. I feel like an adult trying to learn to play his son's game. But thankfully I pick up on it pretty quickly, I guess. But yeah, I'd love to see the game in full open world. That's got to be really neat. I like that you can go wherever I want, not that you'll not get... Yeah, of course, right? Like, they have areas, it's like, you're free to go there. I mean, the Pokemon are way above you and are really dangerous, but you can definitely go there if you want. Yeah, I get that. I made a mistake when I was playing, Shield, because I don't remember the name of the area, but it's the first place where they introduce, like, camping to you. Hey, Red, how's it going? I haven't checked on your package recently, but last I saw it was on its way to you. Like, it had departed the United States, so hopefully it'll get there soon. But yeah, I was just talking about playing Pokemon, and, how it's been a while since I have. But, what was it? I got to, like, the camp zone area, I guess it was, which was really early in the game, and I was like, man, I feel like I should level up. I don't think I'm anywhere near good enough right now. And I just wanted to run around and catch Pokemon, so I stayed in there for a while until my guys were at, like, level 21 or 22. And then I realized I was way over-leveled for everything else that I was going to face for a bit. And then I felt dumb. But that's okay. I just get really anxious about being under-leveled in RPGs. So I'm just going to have mad, crazy, strong Pokemon for a while. If I ever get back to playing it, because, again, I dropped the game a few months ago. I think the last time I played it was when I was in Seattle back in August. So I have not picked up the Pokemon since. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and build up some highlight on her glove. Youngest is on Pokemon, after his Pokemon on Switch for his birthday. That's fair. I mean, it still blows my mind how long that game's been around and whatnot. But, the new Pokemon games are pretty good, is my understanding. But I just feel like by the time I settle in and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and buy this one, and I'm gonna play it, and it's gonna be fun. By the time I get to that point, I find out they're releasing another one. So I always feel like I'm more than a couple steps behind. And I guess that's the price of getting older, I guess. I guess. Because, like, yeah, I was playing through Shield, and I was like, yeah, I'll beat Shield, and then it'll be great. And then I find out, oh, there's this other one coming out that takes place in, like, feudal Japan. And I know it's like a side Pokemon, but it's like, okay, I guess I'll save up to get that, and I'm all ready to get that. And they're talking, oh yeah, there was also, the Pikachu one and the Eevee one. It's just going too quick for me. I'm getting too old. I say, as someone in their mid-30s. Okay, how many? Yeah, I put purity seals pretty much everywhere, didn't I? I do feel like that's something that modern Space Marines are kind of missing, is that their panoply is missing all of the ridiculous. The Eevee one is a good one too. That's pretty cool. That was one I wanted to get. I wanted to get that one because isn't that the one where the Pokemon actively follow you around on the map? I don't know. I feel very old being like, hey, isn't that the one where they do the thing? Because I have played absolutely none of them. Oh, very cool. I feel like it would be high treason if they didn't let you pet it. Okay. Bone color. Bone color? Bone color. Where's my bone color at? There my bone color at. There we go. But yeah, like it's all been releasing too quick, and I'm just too old because it's like there's a million Pokemon and I don't know what any of them are, and it's confusing and bah.
Wait till he's cracking out of bed and you expect him to
glow in the dark. I'm kind of already there. My lower back is consistently really stiff, and so I've kind of got to roll around a bit, and when I do, it sounds like I'm rolling on bubble wrap. I was super not kind to my body when I was younger. I used to work construction, and I definitely kind of threw caution in the wind a lot. And so, and then, like I mentioned before, I boxed for, it was only a year really, but I really put my body through the ringer, because when I stopped, I immediately gained a sciatica issue. Because it was like, oh, he's done, we can stop? Okay, boys, time to let everything go. And then suddenly my lower back didn't want to work anymore. But thankfully, through being careful and with the rehab and everything else, my lower back is not a problem. Now it is my left arm, where I have some kind of ligament issue that I had before I started boxing, and it just got worse in the boxing. Which was sucky because I started boxing partially because I wanted to, but also because that shoulder joint was so badly damaged that I was afraid to do Aikido with it. So yep, I'm just finding new and creative ways to hurt myself. Okay, gonna paint those beads of bone color, I guess. Gonna paint her little holy symbol. I've got to reteach myself how to paint to tabletop level, which is, I think, weird to say. If you know what I'm talking about, I've become so intent on painting everything to a high level, I've kind of forgotten how to paint everything to get it just kind of tabletop ready. Because my brain tells me, no, you need to do this. You forgot to do this. And I've got to kind of fight my own urges to continue working on it and adding more detail or cleaning it up when it's clearly okay where it is. That's starting to become a major problem for me with my mini painting. But yeah, I was just asked to paint these. They didn't have to be beautiful, they just needed to be painted. So I'm fighting the urge to really go in on all these and do some amazing, amazing work on them. Mainly because I've got another queue that I need to finish up. I've got a Nurgle Plague Knight that has been sitting and waiting for over a year at this point. And I finally got it Zenithal highlighted, so I really need to finish that damn thing so I can finally have it assembled and ready to go. I'm getting tired of it just sitting back there and taunting me. There we go. And actually, except for her face, her base parts are all done, which means I can go ahead and hit her with a wash and then start doing all the fun highlights. Fun highlights, he says. Wait a minute, no, I've got to go ahead
and hit that. It'll be 2 weeks before I can post the AT. That's perfectly fine. I appreciate that you're doing that, though. I'm excited to paint that.
I'm actively trying to move away from Primaris models because I've decided that I prefer the firstborns, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to have a really good time painting them. And to be honest, whenever I get a gift, I kind of spaz out about it, and it becomes something that I have to protect with my life. So, like, my wife got me a Repulsor Executioner that I've talked about on stream before. And even if I go all Firstborn Army, I'm never getting rid of that Repulsor Executioner. It was a gift from my wife. So I may never use it in play or anything ever again, but it's always going to be on my shelf as display because look at this awesome thing my wife got me. So I'm going to paint that Primaris ATV up to the best of my ability, and it's going to be in those garish Imperial Fist colors. But it's going to be beautiful to look at. So again, I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, let's get the fleur-de-lis on here. And I forgot she's got booby fleur-de-lis, so I'm going to have to go ahead and hit those too. Does she? No, she just has those. Okay, that's weird. Got an Inquisition sign here. I think, if I remember right, well, that's not an Inquisition. I could still do it though. Go ahead and make the ring around the skull red, just to add some contrast and interest. And then once that dries, I'm going to make the skull colored. Oh, there they are. There are the extra or the extra fleur-de-lis. I knew she had at least one. And then do something I forgot to do, which is her leather strap around her ankle. And then continue to do that so that I can eventually paint over all this with a wash and then hit it with some highlights. And then I will be done with the lady. Maybe do her face at some point too would be a good idea, right? Winos, why are you running? You were perfectly fine until a few moments ago, and now you have decided to betray me. But yeah, I don't know if you're still there, Pixie, but so you play Sylvaneth. I don't actually play Age of Sigmar. I want to, because Age of Sigmar is cool, but I just honestly haven't gotten around to it. I think what ended up happening was, once again, I realized I had too many armies and I was stretching myself way too thin. But I really wanted to play Nighthaunt. I think the Nighthaunt are cool. I love ghosts. The magic deck that I played for a long time was blue-white spirits. And so I felt like, yeah, why don't I just go ahead and transition to that? And unfortunately, I got into it right when they stopped selling that starter kit, where you basically get all of the ghosts that you'll need. And so I went, well, shit. I can't afford to do a whole new army. You've played 2 games? That's cool. I have not seen your ghosts. And, yeah, the Flesh Eater Courts are really neat. They've got a lot of cool sculpts. They've got some more recent ones that are absolutely fantastic. I think that as kind of, as we've talked about before, as kind of obnoxious as Games Workshop has been with some of their modeling and whatnot, they're really hitting the ball out of the park with the whatchamacallit, with the Age of Sigmar. Links? If you want to post links, you definitely can. I'll open them and we can share them with the class. It'll be good. It'll be great. Okay, let's see on the Instagram. I'll give my elbow a rest too, because I'm resting it on a wooden table. Oh yeah, look at them. Those look really cool. Look at them ghosties. Okay, let's see if I remember how to do this. I'm old and I have forgotten how to do things. Boop. Instagram? Yeah. Do you mind if I post the Instagram on here?
Go on Hatchet website and get them cheaper. Plus, you can buy the magazines individual. Boom! Look at those. Those are freaking neato. Yeah, those Ghosty Goos look really good. I didn't realize that the Sylvaneth had, like, some Spirit Hosts in there, but that's really cool. Oh no, it's a conversion, is it? Even better. I couldn't even tell. I thought those were actually official units, but you did a fantastic kit bash on those. Heck yeah. Yeah, like I legitimately thought that those were part of the model. That's neat. I don't know if does that website ship to the United States?
I mean, again, my biggest problem was just budgetarily, I can't afford another army, even if it is at a discount. I ended up finding the Tempest of Souls box, which I bought, and I painted those up. And then I realized I was going to need a lot more. So I kind of just shelved the idea of an Age of Sigmar army. And what ended up happening was, I've mentioned many times before, I'm a big fan of one-page rules. One moment, please. And they're going through and they're doing the different armies, right? And I found out that within the year, they're going to work on getting their Ghostly Undead. And they had some really great concept art for the Ghostly Undead. And I really liked how they looked. So I'm honestly just going to wait for...
The one-page rules renditions. Let's look at this Instagram. Bam! Yeah, those look fantastic. I really dig the juxtaposition you got going on there. Please, window capture. No, not ghost chat. Window capture? Oh, there we go. That's why I didn't like it. Yeah, those are fantastic. That's such a neat army. The bones are kit bash? Yeah, I love the vision. I love how tight that theme comes together. They're so cool. I haven't done a whole lot of kit bashing. The most I've done is replaced heads or replaced hands. I have not tried to well, actually, I kind of halfway take that back. I've not tried to do anything super ambitious with kit bashing. The closest I've got was when I saw the Votan, I immediately thought that without their arms, they would look like High Def Among Us. So I got a set of Votan and I painted them to look like Among Us. And I made 2 of them imposters. And I ended up using parts from a beholder that were left over that I gave a friend to make them. And I also used parts from a Chaos Space Marine crew, or a Chaos Possessed sprue. Let me see if I can find some of them. Okay, I'll take a you. I'll take a you. And I'll take a you.
So let's move that one out of the way. Like, here's a Votan. And he basically looks like an Among Us, right? Like, that it's not just me. Like, it can't just be me. A lot of people have looked at it and said that it was an Among Us. So that's kind of what I did to start them off, right? And I tried to speed paint them to get them just done with. But the closest I've gotten to a kit bash was like this guy. This is supposed to be an imposter, right? And so I cut out the head that was in the half-open visor, and I took a beholder eye, and I just kind of carved it down and popped it in there. And for another one, I took the lower half of the lower mandible of another beholder bit, and I sliced it in half and just kind of carved it until it fit inside there. So I do my plan, honestly, especially after I found out that I can 3D print these, is I'm going to make a whole set of them, and I'm going to see if it's possible to like make an Among Us style board game using those and the Into the Dark terrain from Warhams. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. The guard would probably be really neat to do that with. Okay, so let's see. Window capture. Yeah, there we go. And we're gonna pop that up. Bam. Man, that's a good looking model. I really like these. These are neat. And yeah, you've definitely done a lot of work on these. Like I said, the really coolest thing about it is just how clear your vision is and how on theme you're able to get everything, right? Those are fantastic looking models. The guard are easiest to kit bash. That wouldn't surprise me.
What in particular are you thinking of there? I love that Sylvanathar. Exactly. The earth is mad and it is pissed. I know there's like a bunch of Trader Guard stuff that's been kit bashed, and obviously people have taken different interpretations of the Guard and like their own custom unit or regiments and whatnot. I think the only umbrage I would have with the Guard is that you have to buy so many of them, and it's expensive. But I'll be honest, I have the utmost respect for anyone who plays Guard. That's a lot of cannon fodder. And I feel kind of the same way about anyone who plays, like, Tyranids, too. Moss paint? I'll have to look that up in a second. Give me a moment. Because I'm going to try and hit all of these to get some appropriate shading.
What you got there for us? Yeah, that turned out good. Go ahead and get that. Pop that on there. That turned out really good. The moss paint definitely elevates that thing. Let's get a close-up. Yeah, look at that. You even got the toadstools on there. Ah, that's a cool model. That's a really neat model. And there it is going through the process. I can see why you like that. That looks fantastic. I didn't realize you had to color the moss yourself. That's pretty heckin' neato.
Hopefully that's like a centerpiece unit in your army. Okay, let's see if I can do this and be a little messier. One of the things that I'm trying to get better at, that I'm still struggling with tremendously, is glazing. I'm not very good at the glazing yet, because I am still learning about how much water to put into these things to make them good, or to make it so that it's smooth. So let's see if I can do it. Okay, let's go ahead and hit that. That's gonna be hideous. I'm gonna give that a second to coat and dry out. And if I don't like it, I'm gonna paint back over it. Yeah, I don't like it. This is getting this is a very thin. I'll figure out glazing later. I'm gonna paint you back over because you're making me frustrated. Let's go ahead and hit that. Okay, now I'm just kind of wet blending into a mess here. This is going to turn into a quagmire really quick because I can't. Do you know the slap chop technique? I do. I love it. I thought I was going to hate it until I practiced it, and then I realized no, the slap chop technique is a fantastic way to get detailed minis quickly. I've used it. Actually, I used the slap chop technique to paint the Among Us. I do like it, but I personally enjoy kind of honing the skill and getting really good at a lot of the more technical stuff. And so that's where a lot of my growth has been recently, is just trying to learn how to be better at blending, learning how to be better at like non-metallic metals, and learning how to glaze better and all that kind of stuff. And I'm still not great, but I'm trying. And if I need to get stuff done quickly, then yeah, I'll do the slap chop method. I actually ended up using it a lot for painting a bunch of orcs for a friend who I don't see very often. So when he came over for the holidays, I tried to get better at that. Okay, did I get a thing? I did not. Showcase. Heck yeah. Oh, that's a really cool kit bash. One moment. Let me throw that up on stream. Okay. That is definitely not a tree lord anymore. 3, 2, 1. Bam! Look at that thing. Wait a minute. That's not what I wanted. I didn't want to capture Discord. I wanted to capture Chrome. Bam!
So yeah, you used a Sentinel's face and slammed it inside an Imperial Knight. That is super cool. That is really neat. Yeah, no, I haven't gotten too far into kit bashing, and it's partially because, you know, I spend a lot of money on these things. I don't exactly want to break them up and use them for something else unless I'm purposefully going to break them up and use them for something else. And that's kind of a cowardice thing on my part. It's like, then buy it specifically for that, you coward. So eventually, I'll get there. But today is not that day. Today is the day where I try and make the base models look really nice. Yeah, I don't have that many. I have a lot of bits of like infantry troops, and that's fine, but it doesn't lend itself very well to kit bashing. Unfortunately, buying the bigger models is just out of my reach right now, unless I'm getting like a big character unit, and I really don't want to kit bash a big character unit. Like, I want to get Angron, and I saw that beautiful, beautiful kit bash someone did to make a Demon Primarch Lehman Russ. And it's like, yes, it's stunning. I wish I could do that. But if I spend $170 on Angron, I'm painting Angron. You know what I mean? And I actually had that discussion with a friend because he sold a bunch of his minis that he wasn't using to get an Angron. And his he has a corn army that he's building up that is like a Garfield-style corn army that he's calling Cornfield. And I was asking him, when you paint the Angron, are you going to paint him up to look like Cornfield? And he said, you know, I'd love to, but it's Angron. I've got to paint him to be Angron. If I had another one, then maybe, but like, I got to have Angron. It's like, yeah, I get it. I completely understand that feeling.
I didn't buy Magnus to make him not Magnus.
You need 3 knights? Good lord. Good luck with that. I think you should just stack them all on top of each other. Form Voltron, but with knights. And,
Okay. I think now she's ready for a wash. Don't need the gnome oil. Need to put the gnome oil back. No, I do need the gnome oil. What am I talking about?
so we're gonna go ahead and non-oil the crap out of her metal bits. Get it into all the recesses, really get some nice shadows going, hopefully. And then this will get a paint back over with some good high bright silver.
At least that's the plan.
Yeah, no, I'm still in that stage where each of the models are too precious for me. I can't fathom chopping them up and using them for other things. It would make me very sad. But that's me. I don't think anyone who does that kind of stuff should ever be made to feel bad for doing so, because kit bashing is such a cool skill. It's just not one that I'm interested in investing a lot of time with yet.
Okay.
No oil. No oil. Getting to a point where I'm gonna need. Oh no, I don't need to buy more non-oil. I bought some. This is the old recipe of non-oil before they were like, we're releasing a new, better non-oil. And I've read that a lot of people don't like the new non-oil. It does weird things. I think I remember reading that it acts more like a contrast paint or something. I don't know. But, or maybe it goes too deep into the crevices. I don't remember. But I have a whole nother plot of the original non-oil because I was worried about being able to get the same finish and consistency. So hopefully, when I get the new known oil, it won't be too drastic a change from the old stuff. And I'm noticing I did not paint the back of her handle for her sword. I'm embarrassed. Also, her thigh doesn't look like it's getting a whole lot. Okay. paint back really quick. There we go. So what the heck are you going to do with 3 nights? That just seems like absolute insanity. You need 3 nights to do one thing. Okay. Let's see, we're going to throw that on there to make that a little more purpley. We're going to throw that on there to make that a lot more purpley. Put that there to make it more purpley. Druchii Violet is a ridiculously good purple wash. And what's funny to me is I actually bought this stuff pretty explicitly to do muzzle burn, because I found a really good recipe for muzzle burn from the painting coach on YouTube. And he uses a combination of like Druchii Violet and Night Haunt Bloom to get this really good purple blued look on like Melta barrels. And I liked it so much that I went ahead and just bought a ton. When you get them, I'll see. Oh, that's foreboding. That has an aura to it. Okay. There we go. Oh, did I not? No, I did. It just was what? Did I not hit her torso? I don't think I hit her torso with the normal.
You got to get going? Okay.
I'll see you later. Thanks for joining me for the stream. I appreciate it. Hope you have a good evening. Okay, there we go. That one. What else? I don't need the blue. Oh yeah, no, I do need the blue, because I'm going to go ahead and use it on the sword before I build the sword back up. Yeah, the energy swords are definitely a whole lot more simple on these ladies than it is on the sergeant. That's okay.
I was actually hoping to catch someone that I saw yesterday on stream.
An individual joined the stream and they were very, very interested in what I was doing. And they wanted to sponsor me, basically. They wanted me to help them paint their minis, and then they wanted to sponsor me and give me all sorts of things to help me paint my own minis. And they wanted to give me money. And unfortunately for me, I didn't have a any kind of way for them to do so, especially since I'm not affiliate or anything yet. So there was no way for them to donate money to me. And I ended up making a Stripe account so that I can have a Ko-fi. And I was hoping to see them today and be like, hey, I finally got the Ko-fi. I can do the thing now. But it looks like they're not here, and that's okay. And even if I don't ever see them again, the fact that they were so intrigued and so enthusiastic about what I was doing was a nice little morale boost after finding myself. One moment, gotta sneeze. Sorry. I've been doing more commission painting, and I was advertising via r/mini-paint or r/mini-swap because I saw someone else do it. They posted like, hey, I'll do commission work if you want to pay me. And it stayed up there for a while, so I was like, okay, I'll do that too. And I managed to get a couple commission jobs out of that, which I streamed myself painting. It was a set of armatures and then a demon prince, right? And that went really well. And so I was like, okay, well, I've got some free time. I'd like some more money. So I'm going to go ahead and do this again. And then it immediately got moved because I didn't read the rules and conditions well enough. Oh. Advertising for commission painting was not the place to do so. r/brush for hire is where you do that, but they have a single topic that is incredibly bogged down with a ton of people who are all trying to do commission painting. So it was, instead of having like a topic where you can just be like, yeah, I'm ready to commission paint, instead you would have to just post amongst a board that was completely flooded with other people. So it was like, well, that's a waste of time. How the heck am I going to get money doing this? And then that guy messaged me, so I don't know. We'll see how that turns out.
But for me, it's 6:30. It's pretty much time for me to go.
So I appreciate you guys joining me. I appreciate you being here. I did enjoy the conversation and seeing all the cool kit bashes and whatnot that you guys had to show me. But I need to get going. So I will talk to you guys later. I hope you have a good rest of your evening, and thank you for joining me, and have a good one. Bye-bye.